It's Mac, and I guess Brittany made a pit stop yesterday, and we should recognize this dude right here. I'm actually glad to see him because I believe that there is a double that they use, and this dude was the person driving the double. So they put out a picture that I'll have to find at some point, right after she supposedly, I think, got out of rehab, and he's the dude driving. But it was clear that the person in the passenger seat was not Brittany, but she looked like a body double. So, in Brittany on the record, they talk about hiring doubles. Um, so that's not something that's unusual that they would have people to double her. Now, what I find really interesting about this video is that she's long had security that sells her out, right? But look, he just gave her the jacket. And why did he give her the jacket? Because that dress is really low cut. I would also like to point out she seems very sane. She took the jacket. She didn't make a scene. She wasn't barking like a dog. These guys are actually doing their job. Like, this dude is keeping the photographer from getting into the store. I don't know if she's actually on a date with this dude. It's interesting. I want the sound off because the guy that's filming is just a jackass. So, anyway, everybody's doing their job here. And she has at least two security people. Don't know if this is a guy that's also security or if she's dating him. Her hair looks good. When you see comments on like YouTube videos or articles and they say, I've been a long time Britney fan, and then they proceed to tear her apart. Like, there's a comment on this video where they say that, and then they say, but obviously, like, her hair's unkept and therefore she's doing drugs. That's coming from the bots. That's coming from the public relations firm. So anytime, like, the best way to spot propaganda is when the message is exactly the same. So if you're on Twitter and something happens and everybody literally starts saying the same thing verbatim, that's just letting you know that they got talking points from a PR firm. So it's not authentic. It's not, legit. So I, for one, was glad to see her. This is the Britney Spears fragrance Instagram account that's not being maintained. And you guys left me comments about, like, you didn't know where to get it, which I thought was interesting because it's at Target. So when was there ever an announcement that Target was selling Britney's perfume? There's nothing on the website for Britney Spears perfume. These do work, but they take you to Amazon. So I don't know. Okay, so where's the coordinated marketing? That's the issue. So, you can search, where is this stuff sold? The merchandise and stuff is it's through Britney Brands, but it's being managed by Epic Rights. So when you do see advertisements and stuff, that's from Epic Rights. That's not, Britney's own website being updated and used to promote what's going on. Like, how is it there's nothing on the main webpage about her perfume? And, like, somebody sign up for this newsletter and let me know if you actually get anything. And then I think the last thing that I want to leave you with here is that Britney's Instagram account was updated. She had a post about, how she felt about them giving her a hard time about being on the freeway and sticking her head out the roof. If the Kardashians had done that, the press would have been really positive. But of course, it's Britney Spears, so nobody's very happy about it. They always frame it as negatively as possible, but if you'll notice, the original picture, the original caption has been taken down. So here's the caption that was deleted from last night's post. Just so people know, I was in a conservatorship for 15 years as my AA meeting girlfriends traveled 10 times a month. I had one vacation a year in Maui with my two sons for 15 years. So no, I couldn't live like a real woman like Christina Aguilera, and after a show in Vegas, say I wanted to fly to New York. My family knew where I was every second of the day. Before I might have been a sassy pants, but I had my animal spirit, something so sacred people have no idea that it felt like being a mute saint for my mom and dad for that many years. I wasn't able to make a decision on anything kind of odd after doing my best work. I was punished. Was I turning into a real star? Was that a threat to my family? Because I miss the way I used to feel. I go out for the first time to a gas station, which I never do. I go out and people are claiming I'm incredibly insane. That's not fair to me at all. I never went out one time with my dancers in Las Vegas. If anyone remembers who I used to be, they just looped that video on the left. I wore a belt that said motherfucker at 20. I was incredibly strong, driven, and extremely hard on myself. For someone like me and the love I used to have for people and my friends, I blame my mother for not saying to my dad all those years, let her go with her friends and cousins and go out and be sassy and not your slave, Jamie Spears. I do blame her. People say forgiveness is the answer to kill the most beautiful part of a person. The soul, the grit of who they are is unforgivable. So the truth is, Lord have mercy on my family soul. I've been my own little person for 5 years. This real world is a scary, overwhelming thing. I'm tired of people being so judgmental. I'm just learning to honestly live independently after being divorced for the past 3 years. Stay kind, world. There is an actual psychological condition where, in a state of fear, somebody reverts to acting like a child. Sheryl Crow talked about how Michael Jackson acted like a child, like she was working with him and she toured with him and she was a singer on his, like, one of his songs, and so they performed that song together. And she's like, he acted like a kid and he would like throw grapes across the stage at me, like when we're in the quick change and whatever. And I thought that was really interesting because it's well documented that Joe Jackson was highly abusive to his family. There's even accusations of sexual abuse. So I mean, how incredibly abusive is Jamie Spears? We never saw him drunk, except for that time that he sat there at a bar and drank himself ridiculously silly and then got in a truck and drove. So, I mean, it's a protection from what I understand. It's protection. So, I mean, if you'll notice, they took it easy on this video, but they did just loop it again. See, they just keep looping it. It's stupid. They also laid off on the filtering, if you can see. So really talking about it does make a difference because, you know, every time I ask, you know, online about like, why doesn't Cade do anything about Britney's image? It always comes back like, well, sometimes they just won't acknowledge things and they'll just try to let it blow over. Like that's a public relations strategy. That's not how Cade acts in his real life. In his real life, he acts immediately and he moves to shut things down. So this is how he works for himself. He works the exact opposite for Britney. And I don't believe that it has anything to do with, you know, Larry Rudolph's strategy that, you know, that's good to have drama and stuff because then you can build her up for a comeback. I don't think that she's coming back. And things are so far gone that, you know, there's no coming back from how bad they are at this point because he's allowed it to go this way. So I don't think it has anything to do with Larry's strategy. Julia posted this and I think, I mean, my question here is, here are some coloring postcards included in the official Britney Spears coloring postcard set coming out July 21st. And once again, here's Britney's website. There's no announcement. There's no go buy this. There's nothing. And this is her perfume Instagram account. And let's go back to her Instagram page. And there's no announcements, no branding on her Instagram account. So, I mean, this is actually when she's still, these pictures are from the conservatorship. So this idea that, you know, posting old content, you know, is an outlet. Again, she's not trapped in the house. Obviously, we just saw her leave the house. She gets out. She does things. She travels. So I think, and this is the last thing I'm going to say because I got to go. I think that the reason they said art is her therapy, or this is her art and her therapy, I actually think that that's a 2021 talking point from the conservatorship. I think they couldn't even be bothered to come up with anything new. So, I mean, I don't understand about the merchandise and not making announcements. I don't understand about turning this account into, again, see, there's the cameo. It irritates me to no end how many times that it doesn't make any sense to treat this like a pen. See, there's that fucking cameo picture again. It makes no sense. And these stupid fucking flowers. It doesn't make any sense. This makes no sense. I mean, doesn't everybody want to make money on this team? Or is she making so much money that they don't need to be worried about that? I mean, this is not a recommendation for Kate Hudson as a manager. It's just not. Things should be, you know, I mean, Team Con wasn't great. They were just lucky that she had built this amazing brand. So, I mean, that's all I've got for right now. I have looked more into the perfume money because I've been trying to figure out where that 700 million units number comes from, because they always just quote the Hollywood Reporter on that. But I cannot find the Hollywood Reporter's source, and the closest I get is an article from Racked in like 2013, and that says that she did 500 million units. And when they say units, what they're meaning is not necessarily bottles, but like gift sets, lotion, stuff like that. So some of that stuff, is also very pricey. That being said, that's the article, though, where they do, in fact, talk to Elizabeth Arden. And Elizabeth Arden isn't able to confirm anything because at this point in the story, they're under non-disclosure confidentiality agreements. So, I mean, again, in 2009, when Lou Taylor took over Britney's management of Britney's entire estate, that's when it is said in the contracts that they shut down any information about the perfume brand. And here's the thing that's highly unusual, because for most celebrities, you want it known how much of a bestseller your perfume actually is. And milestones are like marked on social media. Like this is like advertised, this is made known. And so this amount of secrecy around this perfume line in and of itself is a huge red flag. So that being said, the one thing that Elizabeth Arden did say back in, I think it was like either 2011 or 2013, is that it's $1 billion franchise. So she would go on to have 42 different lines. So again, is it not being advertised because it does so well that they don't have to promote it? But I find that really strange. I find it extremely strange, once again, that you're not promoting the hell out of all of this stuff all the time, especially when you're informing on her to the tabloids and saying, like even when she sold the catalog, Kate apparently, allegedly, whatever, made sure to go out and say she wasn't going to get that 200 million that is supposedly sold for. She was going to get like more than like 85 million. Like, what are we talking about here? Why is there always this diminishment of Britney's income? Like, is it to cover up for like how much has been stolen? Because remember, during the conservatorship, they did not value her intellectual property. So by coming back and saying she's not going to get that much, are you trying to draw attention away from how much of the intellectual property, royalties, and funds were actually stolen? And we don't really know how much she was left with, because even though in 2021, Lou Taylor tells the New York Times that she left Britney with approximately $60 million, when they filed for that 12th accounting, what they actually said is the 57 million on record was not a full accounting of all that she had. So then the question becomes, did Lou Taylor say that, not knowing that eventually they were going to have to hand over other accounts, and that wouldn't be the sum total of what she was left with, for fear of actually going to federal prison? And on that note, I'm going to leave you with that and send you truth, love, and light. Leave me your comments. Sincerely, Mac.